Hello dear viewers and welcome back again to Daily Reset, another day and another amazing episode right here. But before we actually talk about the topic and our guest for today, how about we take a short break and we'll be right back right after this. Hello dear viewers and we're back again after that short break right here at Daily Reset. So today's topic is about trying, failing, pivoting and trusting yourself, basically all of the above. And today's guest is Areej, and she is one of our prominent guests right here at the show. And hello and welcome back again.
Hi, good to be here.
Cool. So tell me something. What drew you into experimenting with something completely different in creativity?
I get bored.
Okay.
I get bored a lot, and I take my boredom as a sign that I need to start. I need to start something new.
Isn't that a trait with everyone that is creative or an artist?
Maybe, yeah, maybe. I think boredom is like, we tend to look at it as something negative, but it really is the start of all the best ideas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what did building something with your hands teach you?
The importance of seeing all the little technical aspects of something. So, you know, when you were a kid and you're in the back of the class and you're breaking apart the pen and you're seeing all the different ways that the pen fits in together, building something with your hands makes you realize that there's so much behind just a singular pen or just a project that really makes you appreciate it. So if you're talking about like just buying a purse versus a craftsman like actually spending their hours working on a purse, you realize that there's so much value in the amount of detail that you're able to look at when you're just versus when you're just purchasing the end product.
Very true. Okay, so with that, building something with your hand, how does that experience actually build the confidence in you?
I think you start realizing that the small decisions sometimes are really important, and sometimes it's okay to just make a decision. You don't have to constantly overthink every single decision, and you make sure that you are not overthinking everything. That's a huge thing.
Can we also safely say when you build something with your hands, it's a time of reflection? So you actually sit with yourself, whether with your thoughts or your ideas, or maybe as simple as forgiving yourself, or it's a time just to relax and lay back.
Yeah, definitely. I think craft in general, like arts and crafts, really gets you to just sit back and be with yourself. Yeah, like you said, beautiful.
So what did it feel like when realizing that something wasn't fulfilling anymore?
It doesn't feel good. There's a lot of grief to it, because especially if you put a lot of time and passion into it, you feel like you're making a mistake, or you feel like you're letting go of something that you loved for a long time. But there's also a way to look at it where you learned and you built, and you did something that really built your skills, so that you can move on to the next step in your life.
Well, now in your line of work, is there something you actually build and it got to its peak, and then now you have to just let it go? And letting go of it, how does it actually make you feel?
Yeah, we used to do open mics almost bi-monthly, so every 2 months. And they were the best. Everybody loved them. We got to like 350 people in the audience.
Okay.
But when we decided to stop, it wasn't because we didn't like them. It was because we knew that we had to build something more curated and build something that felt more like us and the people that were coming. So it is easy to like stay in the comfort and to keep doing what you're doing, and oh, it's really great, and you keep receiving positive feedback. But if it doesn't feel like it's giving you what you're looking for, a lot of the times it's okay to just let it go.
But why don't you just keep on it as long as you can, or basically make it your own, like no one actually does it the way that you all do it?
Well, I think it's about how it makes you feel afterwards. Like, does it make you feel, oh, I finally accomplished something? Or does it make you feel like, oh, it's another one, and I'm just gonna be tired, and it's gonna be a lot of people, and I've done the same thing over and over again.
But that could be a phase, and it could pass, and creativity can lurk in the same idea.
Definitely. So we took those ideas and that skill, and we built something very similar but not the same. So it's always about the pivot. Like I think you
Yes,
brought that up.
pivoting.
So it's always like you keep one foot down. That's what a pivot is. You keep one foot down in the space that you feel good about, and then you shift so that you're looking in a different direction. So it's always important that you're not completely letting it go, even if it because it does feel good in a lot of aspects. But you're keeping, you know, some of you there, and then some of you is shifting towards a different direction.
All right, got you. So why is it hard for people to let go of paths that they work hard for?
Because if you're not getting direct feedback that what you're doing is wrong, it's you have to deal with that. Why did we stop doing that? Or why would I ever stop doing that if I'm continuing to receive positive feedback? But it's again about being careful of yourself and caring about yourself and about how something makes you feel more than it is about what the output is. So it's always about returning to yourself and realizing if something doesn't feel good, then it doesn't feel good. And you can push past that for sure. And it's always about also distinguishing if it doesn't feel good, why doesn't it feel good? And then taking that and using it as a way to make the decision.
See, the reason why I also ask that is when you're performing in front of an audience and you're trajectorying whatever you want to do as a, let's say as a comedian and the open mic. The thing is you also have the audience who been loyal for the longest time and they love what you bring to stage, and then suddenly it just cuts out. And then they start to also feel that urge or that sadness of basically losing something the same way that you lost something. So how can you balance between like giving the audience what they want and also at the same time knowing that you should leave it to grow?
It's hard because a lot of people will be like, why aren't you doing this anymore? It's hard. I think it's always about, yes, I miss it too. So it's always about realizing that we are both humans and your feelings are valid and my feelings are very similar. But there's also about realizing that you can't be everything to everybody all the time.
True, yeah.
And even if you wanted to, it would be impossible because a lot of people want all kinds of things. And if you really tried to split yourself in multiple different portions, you still wouldn't be able to fulfill everybody. So in the end, it's about fulfilling yourself too.
I know you said about that sometimes it's about pivoting, but why do we actually get to the point that, or how do we know when it's time to pivot?
That feeling, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like a gut instinct where you know that it's time for the next step. And a lot of the times, it's not technically about the audience or the people that you're working for or with, but it's about your environment starts shifting as well. And oftentimes things around you will shift before you take the shift, or before you take the step. And it's about listening to the environment and saying, okay, it's time for me to take the next step and to realize that I can be something else.
All right. So what role did intuition play in the moment or in that moment?
It's huge. It's huge. Intuition is everything, especially as a creative. Intuition is just about reading the room, reading your environment, reading what's next in your phase of life, and following it through. And often intuition also comes in contrast with some of the decisions that your brain makes. Because your brain often works in fear and self-doubt and self-protection, but your intuition works in desire and dreams and wanting you to reach your full potential.
But how can I know it's actually a true intuition or if it's something that is not truly there?
If you're really listening to yourself. So if you're doing journaling or morning pages, or you're meditating or just taking time for yourself, and you're able to get out of your brain and into your body, and that's a very intense feeling when you stop thinking so much and you just get into your body and see how your body's feeling.
All right, I get it. As they say, like a spidey sense.
Yes, a spidey sense, a sixth sense.
All right, how about we take basically a short break and we'll be right back. All right, dear viewers, a short break and we'll be right back after this. All right, dear viewers, we're back again right here at Daily Reset after that short break. So Areej, tell us, why do people fear starting over?
Because you have to be bad again, and it sucks being bad again.
Okay.
Because if you're really good at something and then you're starting something new, you have to, essentially, to build a skill, you have to be bad at it at first.
Is pivoting considered starting over or doing something that is connected?
Well, the art of the pivot is to realize that you're never starting over.
Okay.
But there are elements where you are starting over. Because that's, you know, again, like that 1 foot in, 1 foot out. That other foot out needs to be okay with anything happening.
Okay.
And with building skills back up again.
So it's like keeping the essence of what you have, but changing everything around it.
Yeah, it almost comes into question, like, are we ever really taking full steps? Because you can never take, unless you're jumping.
I don't believe that we do take full steps because everything is connected.
Absolutely.
It's continuity at the end of the day.
It's still you.
Yeah, still you. Exactly. So how do we separate ego from genuine desire?
People like to give ego a bad rep.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not. And oftentimes your desires come from ego because you are something. In the end, a lot of people like to get rid of the ego and they're like, I am nothing. But you are something because you're a human being in this filter of reality, right? And so your desires come from ego. How do you get your ego to be okay with time? Is a question also.
Yeah.
How do you get your ego to be okay with, again, starting over, pivoting, it not being a linear path to progress? So it's not necessarily about separating them, but about being practical about your desires.
Yeah.
And not letting your ego get in the way of your desires.
Well, I do believe that basically ego has a bad rep because of how it's being used. But in the end of the day, ego can be something positive in some way, because it's just to know that, to label, like, if you're doing something really bad, like that's how they're labeling it now, that your ego is something very bad, especially in martial art. They always tell you keep your ego out, but a little bit of it is not bad.
No, I mean, in the end, it's what brings you to your practices, to your rehearsals, because you know that you want to be something.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think
it kind of pushes you, but in a different way. A bit selfish, but not selfish that it will hurt people.
Yeah, as long as your ego is like not under control, but as long as your ego
it's constrained within yourself.
Yes.
I think that's the right word. That it doesn't seep out and just drag people to do something bad.
Absolutely.
All right. So what did returning home represent emotionally?
Returning to Kuwait?
Yeah.
It's interesting because Kuwait is home because I grew up here, but I'm not Kuwaiti. So I feel this connection to my land, or to this land, and to the country. Coming back felt like I had always sort of belonged here, and belonged with the people who were around me, who also a lot of the times aren't like fully connected to Kuwait, but are still born and raised and built lives here. I came back and my parents left. So it was almost like I came back to make sure that the roots remained. And what did it represent? It was almost like coming back to my creativity as where it flourished and where it grew. And I always think about that when I'm organizing. That I could be doing this somewhere else, but why would I do it anywhere else when this is where it started?
Yeah, well, we did talk about this before, that usually creatives tend to find a home, a space for themselves. And if you do feel that this is your space as a country, then why don't you stay here and just flourish here?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So how did the mentorship help you clarify your direction?
I started asking for creative coaching when I felt a little bit lost and I didn't know what was happening, and I didn't know where to go. It helped me clarify my direction by someone just asking me questions.
Oh, okay.
And that's huge. Like it's way more valuable than we think, where someone can ask you genuine questions. Like I say, I don't know where to find other artists, and they say, why are you looking for other artists? And I say, because I want to be able to discuss and get feedback and honest opinions. They say, how can you find other artists? And they just keep asking these questions that make you realize that the answers are already within you, and you're just maybe afraid to take that step towards them. So a mentor will help you see the path, but also help you along the path.
Yeah, and try to not make you kind of deviate from something you already know.
Yes, absolutely.
So what does trusting yourself actually look like in practice?
It's listening to those little whispers that you think are not important but are super important. So self-trust, yes, is about discipline. So it's about like, if I say that I'm gonna do my morning pages every day, I'm gonna do my morning pages every day, and then you start trusting yourself that you're gonna do it anyway. But it's also about the things that you feel like are not important, you listening and saying, okay, why am I having this thought that I should grab this before I leave home, or that I should bring this up to somebody? It's those things that increase your intuitive sense to really listen to what your mind is going through.
All right. So why do creative have this tendency to always build things from scratch?
I mean, that's what a creative is, right? So a creative is someone who wants to create something. And oftentimes the things that we already have maybe are boring, or maybe aren't in the image that the creative wants. And so building something from scratch just gives you full control. It's really beautiful that you can do something from A to Z through you and through your own lens.
All right. So how do small actions turn into big benefits?
It's almost like those little whispers, you know? It's like when you follow a thread, even if the thread is very, very small or very thin, it can end up being a full project or a full sweater, let's say. So it's just the little moments of maybe connecting with somebody. You see this a lot in networking. People who tell you a lot about networking. It takes one person to know who you are, and then suddenly your creative career is huge. So it really is just about taking small steps towards a future goal. So having that big goal in mind, but then taking the smaller steps towards it.
And do you think that skipping, well, you said small steps, but there are people that are confident that even if I do take, let's say, not shortcuts, but bigger steps, like compiling those small steps into one, is that something advisable in some cases?
Well, I'm sure it works for a lot of people.
Okay.
I'm sure people take leaps all the time. For me, at least, and for the people that are around me, those small steps teach you how to be resilient. They teach you how to keep going even when this step is so small that you can't even see it. And it gives you a lot of skills in how you can go through the small steps so that you can get to the big ones. Because not everything is going to be big leaps.
Yeah.
You know?
And you have patience in there too. I mean, small leaps takes time.
Yes.
It builds patience in some way. It builds confidence also. I mean, these two also work hand in hand, confidence and patience.
Yeah, absolutely. Because then you can build the self-trust. You can build it over time.
Very true.
Yeah.
All right, how about we take another short break and we'll be right back right after this. All right, dear viewers, a short break and we'll be right back right after this. Hello, dear viewers, and we're back again after that short break right here at Daily Reset. So let's continue our journey with today's topic. So Areej, tell us, what's one question that people should ask before pivoting, or back again to pivoting?
We're back again to pivoting.
Pivot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just keep thinking about basketball.
I keep remembering about a series that I watch it. It always say pivot.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
But I do talk about pivoting a lot with my partners, and it's important to always ask what's next, of course, but also what can I take from the previous step. So what have I learned? To always be giving yourself and your partner's feedback, and then to take it all with you. So it's not about letting a ton go and just starting fresh, like we said.
Yeah.
But it is about like, how can I build confidence while I'm pivoting that I can do whatever I need to do, right? So yeah, once your foot is there, and it's like a shaky foot up. To put it down it's a little bit scary, of course, but
Very true.
It's a good question to ask. What can I take with me, for sure?
You actually brought up something very interesting, which is basketball. Now, basketball, like any other sport, has a lot of strategies. Do you actually implement strategies when you play? It actually like sparks something in your head, and then you're like, okay, let me just use this.
In sports?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, using sports in creativity.
Yeah, for sure. I think martial arts in general have a lot of connection to the the creative fields, because it is about like, well, it's in sports in general, but it is about like losing yourself in the moment.
Yeah.
And just being super present. And in sports, it's like you've taken so long practicing and strategizing and where's everybody going to be and what our plans are. But when you're finally doing the piece or finally culminating in the project, all you have to do is be present, because you trust yourself that you already know what you're doing and you've already built the skills. So you just, I don't know, be like water.
Be like water.
Yeah.
Do you see the glass half full or half empty?
Hopefully both, because then you can kind of be like a little bit more practical.
It's actually a little bit both if you think about it just now by your answer, like when you're saying like doing basketball, you have to be fully out of it, and then when you're doing your work, you have to be fully into it.
Yeah, that's true.
So how can someone rebuild something after, confidence after actually, let's say, letting go of a path, of a certain path?
It's a good question, because why did you lose confidence in the first place? Like, why did you let yourself feel like a failure?
Let's say a break, maybe?
Yeah, I guess a break.
Okay.
But okay, from like working constantly to doing something else. But also breaks can have the discipline that you take to your work, and this goes to a conversation about rest. So a lot of people use rest as just, oh, I'm just gonna sit and doom scroll, or be on social media. But you can also be structured in your rest and see it as a way to rejuvenate and to recharge.
Okay.
So if you are taking a break from one thing to the other, how can you take the break? Let's say it's burnout. Yeah. That stopped you. How can you take the break in a way that builds your confidence by, let's say, doing something that maybe you're not fully good at, but you enjoy? So that's important, is that you don't have to be good at something to enjoy it. And if you're enjoying it, then it takes the pressure off you to be good. And oftentimes when we're burnt out, it's because we're perfectionists and we don't know how to just keep going, and so we burn out. So if you do something out of joy, out of love, oftentimes it builds that skill while also not having so much pressure on you.
But then again, there are people that do take breaks depending on what type of break is it. Some people take short breaks, that's because of a burnout.
Yeah.
Some people take medium to long breaks, and sometimes the long breaks get to infinity. Maybe you come back in it after a year or two.
Yeah.
So these type of breaks, now we talked about the burnout, but what about the people that take long breaks and then coming back again? How can they, build themselves up again?
Well, it goes back to showing up, showing up to spaces that make you feel like maybe what you were doing before. So make you feel that joy again. Being around people that also maybe have interests that you want to pursue. And also just doing it again. Sometimes it's scary to start again because you feel like you're gonna be bad, or you feel like you're rusty, but just rediscovering old spaces and realizing that it's not a big deal.
Okay. It's not a big deal. So how do you quiet outside noise when making big decisions? So it's kind of like also connected to if you lost your path and come back again.
I think it goes back to intuition too, because a lot of people can give you advice, but they'll never know really what the truth is.
Okay.
And they'll never know things as you see them. So outside noise, to quiet it down, I think just sit with yourself and really connect with the body instead of with the mind who wants to think about everybody and everything and and everybody all the time, but to think, what do I feel? How do I feel it? Because your creativity doesn't just stop at the canvas or the instrument. It's about how you're creating your reality, right?
Yeah.
And so that intuition that goes into making decisions about the next color you're going to use in your painting can also, or must also go into your decisions about what's my next step in my career, or what's my next step in my life.
True.
So it is about intuition. It's also about having specific people that you go to for specific things. So if you want advice on your career, you go to this specific person that you trust with your career or with career advice. But asking everybody all the time, it's just gonna give you tons of people. Why are you giving me career advice? You don't even have a job. These questions, these questions of who am I asking and who do I actually care about in this specific realm of my life.
All right. You talked about self-trust, and what is the daily thing that someone can actually practice to actually bring back self-trust or to strengthen their self-trust?
I know I've said it in past episodes, but it's morning pages. Do your morning pages. Do your writing. Make sure you're listening to yourself. It doesn't have to be writing. It should be writing, but it doesn't have to be writing. It can also be filming, recording like an hour voice note. I know people who do that. Just talking to yourself. Listen to yourself. What are you saying? How are you saying it? What are the feelings behind what you're saying? And being analytical about what you're doing and what you're thinking.
All right. So what's your message to someone afraid to start again?
Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just stop with like the more time you spend away from it, the more pressure you're putting on yourself if you come back. So if you can limit the break, that's great. But if you've already taken a step back for a long time, sometimes it's just about doing it. No expectations, no pressure. I don't need to be good. I just want to do it.
It's that back and forth kind of motion that makes people hesitant, and that's what you're trying to convey in that message. Like, you shouldn't always be nervous or like go back and forth. Just go with it, like how you went with it in the first time. For example, if you let something go and for a long time, and now you're coming back again to it, and then you have this back and forth, like, should I start, should I not? Just go with it. And at the end of the day, if you stumble, it's okay. If you don't, then it's still okay. At least you'll get the answer, as they say.
Absolutely.
It's rather than living your life without knowing the answer.
Yeah. Stop with the excuses, I think, is a big one.
Yeah, stop with the excuses. I think that's the best thing you could actually say, like no excuse.
Yeah.
And also discipline. As you said, like, I mean, discipline also teaches you not to also have excuses and just like push through.
Yeah, a lot of people consider discipline to be like, even if I'm not feeling good, I'm gonna do it anyway. Which is a little bit hard for me, I'm gonna be honest with you, because I'm an emotional person. So if I don't feel good, why would I do it? But it is taking that step and being like, okay, I don't feel good, but maybe I can show up anyway, even if it's just half a page. It'll still be better than not doing it at all.
Yeah.
So even if it's just picking up the instrument again, or even if it's just picking up the pen again, it's still a huge leap away from not even doing it at all.
All right. So when we're talking also, one last thing about someone coming back from a path that they stopped for a long time, do you think they can be better or static?
I definitely think that they could be better. Do you mean like right as soon as they start again?
Yeah.
Generally, it's bad. Generally, it's like, it's a practice, it's a muscle.
Yeah.
And if you let your muscles go for a while, it's not gonna work out. So I don't like that pressure of like, oh, it's gonna be better. But sometimes you think that you've been taking a break, but actually you've been noticing the way that the flowers bloom outside your window, or the way that the sky looks. And so it's informing your poetry. So did you really stop? Or have you been just expressing in a different way or being creative in a different way?
Oh, that's a nice way of putting it. Yeah, maybe I'm expressing in a different way. That's true. All right, thank you so much. And on that note, thank you so much for being with us right here at Daily Reset. Hope to see you soon again.
I'm so happy to be here.
You're welcome. All right, dear viewers, we've reached to the end of today's episode right here. We hope that you are, you actually learned a lot more about to plan yourself, to actually accept yourself, to actually, like, if you do stop on a specific path and how to come back to it. It's just do it in the end of the day. Just start, pick up a pen, write 3 pages, and we'll see you soon next time.